If you are a sleuth, if you are an amateur detective, if you are somebody who loves to go into forensics and go through forensic pathology and the like in courtroom, this is the best. This is a terrible day. What am I saying? But two cases. Gene Hackman and his wife, and Epstein. And what you are going to find, I promise you, is you're going to find more instances when I told you exactly what to expect and what happened. 100%. You're going to say he was right. And people will fight me on it. They're always fighting me on it. People don't like what I say. They want there to be a different version of truth or reality or something. I don't know. But I'm only going to tell you the God's honest truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. And it may not be to your liking, and it may sometimes conflict with a worldview you would like to have and to share. However, that's not the way we do it here. We look at reality. And if reality works, great. If it doesn't work, great. Either way, we say the truth. And that's all we're going to do tonight. Tonight, my friends, this is so interesting. The Gene Hackman case, I've been feeling so bad about it, but it doesn't make it is so fishy. It is so bad. It is so open and replete with issues. I don't understand it. I must tell you, we are not there. And as a result, we really cannot say specifically or opine as to what did or didn't happen because we have no information. We don't see pictures and toxicology and firsthand accounts. We're reading this through the news. But there's some things that are strange. Two people, not in the same room, mummified, with one dog dead, the other not, some pills strewn about, mummified, the amount of time to pay, depending upon the humidity and this and that. Nobody checked on them. Nobody. Gene Hackman, I know he was a bit reclusive, but this is the strangest thing. We'll go through the possibilities of that. And remember, we don't say something unless we have proof of it. We don't just say, well, I think it was murder-suicide. You don't know that. You haven't seen anything. Well, it could be. Looks to me like, I've heard a very interesting thing, squatters. Isn't that interesting? Squatters. Any evidence of that? No, but it could be. That's not the way we do it. But we do think about what we are looking for. And what did I tell you about the real issues regarding the Epstein case? First of all, Kash Patel is on Pamela Joe's shit list already. He didn't even, you would think he had one thing to do, if this is the story. One thing, you know that expression, you had one job, you had one thing, Kash. Everybody's screaming for this. You should have said, hey, Pamela Joe, the New York office, FBI, they're not coming through. I'm letting you know. Make it look like you're trying to provide transparency. I know you can't let your people out to dry, but already. And she's looking terrific. She's looking like the hero here because she writes him a letter and says, I told you tomorrow by 8 o'clock, I better find this thing out. She's great. Kash, not good. So far, we'll find out. So my friends, get ready. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation on YouTube right here. This is critical. This is critical because if you don't, you won't know when we have live streams and new videos and that sort of thing. So be aware, okay? Because if new videos drop during the day, unless you're subscribed, you're not going to find out. So before we begin, this critical word, listen to me. Are you drowning in debt? You're not alone. New reports show the average person is buried under $8,674 in credit card debt, with total consumer debt soaring to a staggering $104,215, including mortgages, auto loans, student loans, and credit cards. It's a financial crisis, and without a real solution, many will keep spiraling deeper. That's why I want to introduce you to a powerful secret weapon that has helped so many regain control. They specialize in consolidating all your debts into one manageable monthly payment and even negotiate a settlement so that you can pay less than you actually owe. Think about this. They've already settled over $275 million in debt. Think about that. Helping people break free in an average of just 28 months. I've personally recommended their services to friends and clients who needed a way out, and now I'm bringing it straight to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. So don't wait. Book a free consultation today, right now, at nodebtwithlionel.com. That's nodebtwithlionel.com. The link is right under the title here. It's time to take back control of your finances. Act now. Get out of debt and start living the life you deserve. So many things I want to say right off the bat, in no particular order. I will just start. I think I want to go. I'm going to be going back and forth. Let me just warn you. Let me just warn you right now. I'm going to be all over the place. My brain is on fire. Okay? On fire. I am revved up beyond anything you can imagine. I went to Costco today, and that does it to me every single time. It just does it. I go crazy. I can lose my mind. That is this, and I'm in there and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm going the latest with Pamela Joe and Kash Patel and this and that, and then Gene Hackman. What's about Gene Hackman? I love Gene Hackman. I don't know why, but this story is so interesting. And remember, we're reading it a little bit. I was reading in one instance the police report, or what purports to be the police report, showed that they were together or they were in separate rooms. And they were there for such a long stretch. They were there for such a long stretch that they were mummified, or words to that effect. Why? Now, both of them, simultaneous death of a 94, 95-year-old and his wife who's 64 or whatever. Simultaneous, that normally means, and let me be careful by virtue of YouTube sensibilities here, MS, or you got it? MS, moited, or self-harm. That may be it. That's one possibility. The second possibility is foul play. Somebody went in and did this, or in the course of this. That is dependent so much upon the crime scene and whatever you can get from it. Next is the dog. One dog deceased, and then what? Two more running around. Right? Two more. Now, I guess they were. How did at least one of the dogs maintain its life when its owners and the other dog are not there? Now, I'm going to tell you something I'm going to be very, very circuitous about this, but I'm going to tell you nonetheless. Whenever there have been cases, there's one particular I know of as well, when there have been cases where somebody has expired and you have a pet, like a dog, and the dog becomes starved, as you can imagine, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at, I can't, there's one story I wish I could tell you. I can't. There's no way that they'll go crazy if I tell you this. But it was a dog feasting upon what have you. All right? That's all I want to tell you. Feasting. Gene Crane says, hubby from Santa Fe. Hackman lived in a very guarded and gated area. Lots of security cameras in that area. Definitely something strange. Oh, yes, he had a huge house. You see this? It was big. They say it was like $3 or $4 million. Okay. So, yes, security cameras. The daughter said, I believe she hadn't seen her or talked to him for months. Maybe this was okay. He's got a young daughter. It's just so odd that people would have been, that no one would have been there to first, and please, we must deal with the notion of putrescence, putrefaction, the breakdown of the remains. There is a place, the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, called the Boneyard. And what they do is they study various levels of putrescence and breakdown when you return to your atomized, what am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say. It's where you return to your, from dust you came and dust you shall return. But they will look in a field, in a trunk, in a house, in whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So it's fascinating. Really good forensic pathologists will be able to go in and see immediately, based upon the level of putrescence, that'll tell you the amount of time. It's almost, I don't want to get into too much details. It's hard to say, but there's a leathery kind of, it's a very interesting, because you are merely returned to your more organic self. Toxicology. What can you learn from there? What can be done? What depends upon, again, we don't know. The levels of dare I say, advanced decomposition, if there's anything left. Remember in the case of Kaylee Anthony. Do you remember this a while back? Kaylee Anthony. There was Casey Anthony, then there was Kaylee Anthony. Kaylee Anthony was the daughter. And she was found, and all they found, I believe, was either, I believe it was just a skull. It was it. It was nothing. It was it. And there was no, how do I say this? There was no tissue, nothing that could be extracted to find out the cause of death. The skull was intact. They might have been able to look at either not prions, but if in the case of, had there been submersion in water, a la drowning, that could have been utilized, or seen. That didn't happen. The DIY says, check out Emma from the Imagination Podcast. She interviewed hundreds of SRA survivors. Okay, SRA survivor, for those who are not, let's see what this is. Now, is this satanic ritual abuse? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're suggesting? By the way, you must understand something. In case you're brand new here, my followers speak in a code that no one understands. Oftentimes, I'm like, what? Is that SynQ with half a lever? What? Katie bar the door? Or is it an interrogation sandwich? I have no idea what you're saying. So were you talking about that? I have not. Is that what we're talking about? I don't know. So unless we follow up with what that is, we don't know. Okay? We don't know. Now, I don't know where we're getting any information. If, remember, where there are, I think it's a medical school phrase, when you hear footsteps, don't think zebra. Freedom says they're saying now very strong possibility of carbon monoxide near the living room area where the bodies were found. Latest news. Well, they said that then. This seemed to be the most, this would be the easiest. Please don't say Occam's razor. Please don't say that. That's not what this is. This is not Occam's razor. But this was one of the initial what people would say probably so. Why? 2 people found, and if there isn't evidence, if it's almost as though they were, doing something, they weren't together in a bed, or they weren't. It's a very light, a very easy, a very dare I say, a tranquil passing. So seeing 2 people in different areas, 1 dog, that would make sense. Where is the other dog? And how did the other dogs, assuming there was the other dog, how did it last for this long? Apparently not. Nobody found it? There was a caretaker or somebody. So we're going to find this out. All of this. So I would probably say now, depending upon what the scene is, they said there were some unopened pills. Maybe somebody was taking them and then succumbed to, who knows? That would make the most sense. Remember, who was it? Vitas Gerolitis? Somebody says the dog was in a kennel, but there was a dog who was there was a dog that was there. Is that correct? Honey, wasn't there were there 2? Yeah, dogs were roaming around and that sort of thing. So we don't know. And the door was open. Yeah, so there's again, I don't know how to give a lot of credence to one particular way of thinking. If that's true, I don't know. I don't. Also, there's other information. What were they doing? How were they acting? What were they saying? Is there any indication of whatever it is? At any rate, we don't know. It's just sad. It's just sad. Door was open. This is what we think was it. Again, I don't know how much of this I even believe. I don't know how much of this he believed. I believe. But this was a great, great, great actor, as we talked. And so that remains to be seen. Let's see what remains are available. Let's see what can be. I don't know. By the way, years ago, well, I don't think this would be post, maggot area, because that's a very interesting thing. Years ago, in fact, Michael Baden was on Fox News. I caught this. He's very, very good. And they were asking him questions and he didn't know. He said, well, it could be carbon monoxide, maybe a space heater. You can have a car that's in an attached, Then they asked about the Trachtenberg girl. He said, what do you think about that? He says, I don't know. She had a liver transplant. It could be a Barry aneurysm. It could be, again, they're asking him questions he doesn't know. But I will tell you something very interesting about how these people think. Years ago, there was a case of somebody who died in a tub. They found him from significant decomposition. And they had maggot formation. Many, dropped by flies and all that. So what they did was they took them, put them into a blender, ground them up, and used that as a basis to do a tox screen. And lo and behold, they found out that it was a drug overdose based upon the information contained in the maggot. It's fantastic. So interesting. Fascinating. Because what the death does is it talks to you. It's telling you. It's trying to say, this is what happened to me. How late are you to the party? If you're coming a month, a week, so later, but it remains to be seen. But what a way to go! What an ignominious way to, so to speak, from this incredible actor. I think he was wonderful. He was an incredible actor. He reminds me of a Spencer Tracy. He was on the Actors Studio with James Lipton. Pilgrim Media says they're not picking their feet in Poughkeepsie. THEIR. and THEY''RE. This is from the classic French Connection. There. It's a homonym, but thank you for that. The DIY guru says, I wonder if Gene was going to release some info. Now we're going to get, wait a minute. Seriously, is this the one with the SRA? Is this satanic ritual? Why would you think that? Again, if you hear hoof beats, hoof prints, hoof sounds, hoof noises, don't think zebra. Release information. You see how we're getting? There's no way, could be, but why would you even jump to that? Why would you jump to that? And if there was a way to do this, is this the way you want to do it? Is this the way? If you're going to go in and do something, you're going to leave these people. Let's assume, and I'll stay with you for a moment, that there was some type of harm that was done to him. Remember, 4 types of modalities of death. NASH. Natural, NASH. Natural, accidental, suicide, homicide. And if you were going to do it, do you think the best way would be to leave him there so that whatever modality of homicide you use can be seen by people? Does that make sense to you? No. But then again, maybe they didn't know what they were doing. So it's just that. So let's put this here for 1 second. Because we don't know. We're going to find out. We'll get to that. I personally would love. DIY says, I personally doubt that it was foul play. DIY, I love you. You have no idea what you are. You haven't seen the scene. You haven't seen the scene. You haven't read a police report. You haven't talked to a witness. You haven't anything. You haven't seen if somebody says, oh my God, there's dried blood over here. Let's do a luminol test. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my God. They didn't look at the dog. What happened? The dog was this vivisection. You don't know anything. We don't know anything. It's okay to say, I have no opinion. I don't know. I don't know. No information. No probable cause. No reasonable doubt. No nothing. I have no reason to believe. We're not there. I would probably think that if you're going to start off with something, it might be a good idea to say, you know what, this at least is in the realm of possibility. Let's say, for example, they were outside. Let's say they were by the pool in a chair, and you were to say, you think it could be carbon monoxide poisoning? No, not outside. So you can rule that out. Inside, well, it would make sense. You would bring in experts. Where would it come from? Space heaters? Is there anything attached? Was there, I don't even know how you do it. Would you look at the gas bill or who knows? Is there any evidence that we can get, believe it or not, from the dog? Is there anything? Because if you see a high saturation of that, and how long does that last? DIY says, it's definitely odd by the sounds of it. Why is it odd? Again, I'm not trying to be the negative person here, but why is it odd? It happens more than you think. What is odd about it? The amount of time that a Academy Award winner would be so recluse, nobody would know. He was only seen once, I think, last year or something? So he didn't we don't know anything. We have no idea. I want to say, let's see what happens. FDLE could solve the case. For those people who are listening, that is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, just to let you know. And they do a fine job. I would love to hear what the experts do. First of all, nobody touch anything. Let's go. Which one is Mr. Hackman? That one. Okay. What do we know? What do we see? Where would this be? How, again, the level of decomposition, putrescence, how long would carbon monoxide be? You can't look at skin discoloration. The whole thing is discolored. Would there be remnants of it after decomposition and gases themselves, gases from the putrescence process from there? What could show? I don't know. An expert could come in and say, of course, you look here, you look at this particular, you look at the hair, you look at, I don't know. Warren says e-files may be a lot of hoopla about evidence already destroys. E-files, the Epstein files, or yes. Well, this is what I was talking to you before about that. We'll get to that next. You're right about that. DIY says, why would his wife not call anyone or vice versa? If they were both the victims of carbon monoxide poisoning, nobody is going to call anyone. His wife died too. I'm surprised his daughter, who he has 3 kids, right? He had 3 kids. You might want to see too, sounds crazy, who would seek to gain from the estate. I'm not going to even think foul play right away. But why would the daughter do anything? No, we don't know. Don't know. I'm sorry to say this. This is not there. We don't know anything. But I would love to be there to see. Let's see. First of all, I want to see cause of death. If something is available that says, yep, that's it, all right. That's it. Carbon monoxide, end of discussion. But how come these other dogs weren't affected? And how could they have not? How can you not? I don't know how long it takes for mummification to take place, but who fed these dogs? How did they live? Are they the ones there? The door was open. Nobody. Maybe they weren't their dogs. Maybe they were. Who knows? Who knows? Many people. The person who showed up, I think somebody who was a caretaker or somebody, just looked inside and said, yep. Yeah, it's conflict. Right, exactly. Right. Conflicting reports. We'll get to the bottom of that. And most of the time, you're going to find out that half of the stuff that you thought was true is not true. Ricardo says 95-year-olds produce a lot of gas that are alive. Very funny guy. And his 64-year-old wife. Bless her heart. Jeff says, am I wrong, or was today's doc release a PR failure? Giant redactions and Bondi teasing the content. Okay, let's get to that now, because I know that's what you want to talk about. Okay. First, let me get to the bottom line regarding this. Okay. Let me say this. As I have told you repeatedly, to the point where I'm boring myself, you're not going to learn anything if you want to see files and airline logs and all that other stuff. Do you know how many people visited? Wasn't the people, honey, in this place here? People like George Stephanopoulos or Charlie Rose. They had dinner parties. Alec Baldwin, Mick Jagger, Ethel Kennedy, scientists. There was this one guy I was watching. Did you ever watch Brian Greene or what, the World Science? And he was talking to somebody about AI or something. And I'm reading. I said, "Oh, I wonder who this guy is. I'm not familiar with this." And I read it, and he says, "Oh, Epstein controversy." I said, "Epstein? He's a physicist." What? It turns out he either they received money or it was a stipend. He said, "I don't know anything about this. I met him one time. I didn't know who he was." He was at Harvard all the time, and he wore his Harvard shirt, and he wore his Harvard. It's, anybody who wears anything that says Harvard didn't go there. You notice that, right? It's the weirdest thing. The only people who go there don't wear it. Anyway, So there was all this, and I said to you, number one, they're not going to show you pictures or videos of people doing terrible things, especially if there are young people who are underage. I told you that. I didn't have to tell you that because it's obvious. That's number one. Number two, there was nothing wrong in going to visit him. It's almost like when people talk about Bohemian Grove. It's not against the law to go to Bohemian Grove or Bilderberg or Davos or G7 or the Spawn Ranch. Now, that might have been something. But so right off the bat, I kept telling people, what do you think you're going to see? Ethel Kennedy. Aha! I mean, no. I mean, people just went. He had an island. He wanted to ingratiate himself. He's a billionaire. It's a little bit called a cover. Don't you want, I mean, okay. That's number one. So you want to read the logs? Go read the logs. That's number one. Number two, who keeps records? Who? Why would the FBI keep records? And if they do keep records, you keep records that nobody cares about. Records about his like Lee Harvey Oswald. Records about his dental work. He had dental work. He went to the chiropractor. They got this. He fired this person. There were some folks, remember those people? There were some workers who said, he was great, paid me. I didn't see anything. Well, did you see anything funny? He said, no. DIY says powerful people need to be arrested and exposed. Okay. I'm going to ask you a dumb question. Ready? How do you know? What do you think happened? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be the devil's advocate. I'm going to be the person who says, I represent the Epstein estate because he's not here anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, call your first witness. What do you have? Virginia Giuffre. Okay. You want to put her on? Yeah. She's the main one, right? Virginia Giuffre. What happened? Pam Bondi's, and by the way, I trust her implicitly. She's getting into a pissy match with Kash Patel. Is Kash Patel... First of all, somebody would say, Pamela Joe, yeah, Kash here. Listen, before you do, let me tell you something. There's nothing here. What? I swear to God, there's nothing here. Don't go crazy. There's nothing here. We got to do something about this. Oh, shit. Really? Nothing. I mean, I don't know if it's a DOJ, if it's in New York, if they're hiding something. Okay, great. Well, listen, we're gonna take care of this. Thanks for calling, Kash. You got it. That's not what she did. She puts this letter out that basically says, I thought I told you to have these released today. And the Southern District, the Department, the FBI in New York, what was that about? What was that? That was a turf battle. That's like, I'm in charge. I told you. I'm going to put it in a letter. Mrs. L, if ever she had a nickname, just today, don't text anybody. I'll tell you when I see you in person. Don't email anybody. Don't text anybody. I'll tell you when I see you. Just today. She tells me this. Don't put it in a card. No, I'm kidding. But the point is, who is keeping notes? Do you think there's going to be a box where Kash says, you're not going to believe this? Yeah, look at these. Look at these thumb draws. Look at this. Little Anthony's, what's that called? Little Anthony's Island or Little Anthony Imperials or whatever they are. Here's the island. Look at this. Bill Gates in an orgy. I'm just saying. Look, you want to see this? Anybody want? Bill Gates, in a satanic ritual. Here's Prince Andrew squatting over a cactus. Do you think they're going to find that? Does anybody think they're going to find that? Do you think that the people that Epstein worked for? And let me ask him, who do you work for? Who do you work for? I said this to I keep telling people this, and nobody's listening to me. And by the way, did you notice how the Daily Mail now, all of a sudden, you got to pay for it? There's a paywall. This one lawyer, somebody says, evidence was he did not off himself. I've been screaming this since it happened. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Collins would like to say something. Tom says, my conspiracy mind is saying the art of the deal is in full play, and those with deep pockets in the files will pay a lot of money for redaction or erasure. You're saying that President Trump is going to buy this? He's going to buy people or allow them to pay their way out? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what you're thinking? You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. You're absolutely kidding me. Well, let me tell you something right now. Before we do this, and before we follow this, I want you to think about something very carefully, because tomorrow is the end of the month, and you know what that means. My friend, listen closely. The world is unraveling. Disaster doesn't wait. Food shortages, power outages, chaos. They're not if, they're when. Are you ready to survive? Your life and your family's life depends on it. And listen to me carefully. It depends upon what you do now. Introducing the 3-month emergency food supply from preparewithlionel.com. This isn't just food, it's your lifeline. Over 2,000 calories a day, fuel designed for disaster, packed with 100% of the 12 essential vitamins and minerals to keep you strong when the world is falling apart. Fortified for survival mode, because nutrition isn't optional in a crisis. It's critical. Sealed in rugged, heavy-duty 4-layer pouches locked inside water-resistant buckets. This is gear built to outlast the chaos. Store it for up to 25 years. Get it, forget it, and know it's there when the unthinkable strikes. 22 food and drink varieties, because monotony can break your spirit when everything else is broken. Now, our food scientists test relentlessly trusted quality so you don't gamble with your life. Right now, $100 off. So act now. But this deal won't wait. Disaster won't wait. The clock is ticking. Go to preparewithlionel.com. Secure your 3-month emergency food supply right now. Don't hope for rescue. Prepare to survive. Preparewithlionel.com. Do it now, because tomorrow might be too late. Okay, my friends, this is so fascinating by seeing how you react. Number one, what do we know? Well, first of all, in no particular order, what do you think of having President Trump or the DOJ release this to MAGA influencers? Yes or no? Did you like that? Who is it? Probiotic was one of them. I think, DC Drano, or some of the other people I didn't know. What do you think about that? Tom Pressler? What do you think? Huh? I call him Tom. I also call him Presley, too. Do you think it was a good idea? To turn this over to MAGA influencers? Do you? JT says, Comey's daughter works there. SDNY, also on Mr. E. So what? Good. There's one. How about the whole Department of Justice? How about Bill Barr said, no, I thought he offed himself. Who cares about Comey's daughter? What is she going to do? You had Bill Barr, who, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, was the headmaster at Dalton, where, not Tiffany Henyard Dalton, that's Illinois, but the school, the Upper East Side, where Epstein worked. Remember this? And he had no credentials. Nothing. I don't even think he went to a community college. Nothing. And he was a teacher, physics or something, or adult. How did he get that? Bill Barr's father. I'm not saying that's anything connected, but isn't that weird? So let me just go. Do you think it's a good idea? Now, understand the way I look at this. First of all, I'm saying, President Trump, yeah. Do you like this? Yeah. You do it. You do it. Nobody asked me my impressions. Excuse me, Lionel. Yes. We got this thing called Rachel Levine. It's this guy with a dewlap, a challar, a double, this big, and he's going to put on a fright wig and a dress. And do you mind that? Yes, I do. Okay, we won't do it. Nobody asked me that. Do you mind if we take children and destroy them by robbing them of puberty? Nobody asked me that. Nobody asked me whether I minded. Do you mind if we let Black Lives Matter go? Do you mind if Antifa? No. So nobody asked me my opinion. So because nobody asked me my opinion, I don't really care about this. Jeff says they misused the influencers. Bad move. Why did they misuse them? Why did they misuse them? Again, let me see this. Let me go back a little bit. Our good friend, Mr. Pearson, says, will this hurt Trump PR-wise? No. Hurt him? No. Fishman says, hey, Lando, doesn't know this prove that justice is just us. None of these freaks are going to jail. Who were the freaks? Who? I'm sorry. Who? What do you think happened? What do you know that nobody else knows? JTE says, Comey's daughter. Jeff said they misuse the influencers. Bad move. I don't know. Suspect the Southern District of New York is once again involved in something against Trump and his appointees. He's hiding there. So everybody's going screaming. Number one, nothing should have been done unless everybody says, do we have something here? Yes. Do we have something here? Are you sure? Yes. Before I put any letters out, Cash, do you have anything? Yeah, we got something. What do you got, Cash? What do you got? Tell me what you got. Well, I got about, and this was weeks ago. Honest AF, I think you know what that means, says using influence turned it into a 3-ring circus. Well, would I have done that? No. But then again, I'll tell you what, now remember, from this point of view, from that point of view, everything's relative, my friends. From my point of view, I don't know if I'm an influencer, I love it. The next time somebody says, what do you do? I had somebody say, hey, you know what? You should be on radio. And I thought, what generation are you living in? DIY says, there are hundreds out there just like Epstein. No. First of all, billionaires paid for by Les Wexner, set up by Ehud Barak, and come on. No, they're not. No, they're not. I mean, they're freaks. But let me go back to what I said initially. I love the fact that there are these people called influencers. So I can be one too. Good for you. Thank you. Thank you for this. This is Trump basically saying, I'm going to do anything I want. I'm going to do anything I want. And as soon as you talk about this, I'm going to do this. Then Elon's going to find another 100 billion. You're going to say, oh, forget about this. I think one of the most despicable things ever is this Gaza resort thing and the AI and the videos. Disgusting. Doesn't matter because there's a lot of nobody cares about that. DIY says, I mean with blackmail operations. Well, okay, we got to be careful about this. First, what blackmail operations? Everybody knows this. What are you going to do? Hey, Bill Gates. What? What is it? We got you, Bill. Got me what? What do you got me? We got you. Got me what? What are you talking about? You're going to bring up that Jouffre again? How much did they pay you? How much did they pay you? Who do you have? They said 250 what? Children? 250 children? If we have 250 children, I don't think it's 250 children. Just because there's women there doesn't mean they were victims. If you're over the age of 18, you can do whatever you want. Do you know that in Nevada, in certain parts of it, they used to have things called the Chicken Ranch? These women were so... I'm sorry, but they were over the age of 18. It was legal. I think it was disgusting, but it was legal. DIY says. And now with AI, people can claim it's fake. Yep, absolutely. But let's go back to what we're saying. You could say, we just busted the chicken ranch. We got 250 women. They're all adults. They knew what they were doing. Do you think they were saying, did you believe that there were 250 kids? Young women? 250? Prove it. He's back again, DI says. That's not me in the video. You can't prove me that. Well, how about the people coming forward? State your name for the record. Susie Jones. Susie, how old were you on the year 2000? 13 years old. Okay. Did you happen to come across this man? And by the way, I keep saying Bill Gates. I have no evidence. I'm just giving this as an example. You could say Lee Iacocca, anybody else for that matter. Fish says, forcing people out of Gaza, modern trail of tears. Oh, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. But there's so much going on right now. What am I going to do? Say, all right, that's it. Bring me back Biden. It was worse under Biden. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to lose sleep over this, but I don't like everything, but I'll take Trump out on his worst day. On his worst day, what he's done in a month is fantastic. But this was so completely, this was a cluster, if ever I've seen one. It was like a circle jerk. It was remember the Chinese fire drill? We used to have that thing. I don't know what the hell that's about. Oh, I start off and say, okay, folks, thank you for coming. Okay, Pamela Joe, have a seat. Cash, have a seat. Everybody else here? Good. Number one. Do we have the first tranche? Yes. What do we have? Cash, you're the head of the FBI. Pamela Joe's the head of the DOJ, but you're charged. Work hand in hand. What do you know about this? What do you have? Here's the box of stuff. Is this all that's here? This is all that's here. Okay, if we were to release this, is there anything that's been classified? Is there anything good in here? Is there anything worthwhile? What is this? Well, these are aircraft or air flight logs. Really? Yeah. Is that of any interest to anybody? What, did he flew a plane? Oh, no. But there were cameras on there. You get a picture of what? Did you see Ethel Kennedy? Ethel Kennedy. Did you get a picture of Ethel Kennedy on the plane? No, we didn't get a picture of Ethel Kennedy. Or maybe, who else? Well, what do you have? You have Prince Andrew? Yeah. And Prince Andrew's doing what? And was he with what? Jouffre? Well, they already settled that. The Queen coughed up $2.5 million, whatever it was. I don't know what it. And Jouffre, by the way, is probably going to be coming forward and say, listen, count me out of this. I already paid my money. I signed an NDA. I'm through with this. No, you don't, Virginia. Come here. You're going to testify against whoever. Oh, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I signed an NDA. I don't give a damn what you did. Ask President Trump about NDAs. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean. Not if we want to prosecute you. So what do we have? I got the box full of stuff. So we got the first. So anyway, so we have DC Dreamers going to go through and say, okay, what do you got? What page are you on? I'm on 50, and I'm still in you're still in the flight logs? Okay. This is not exactly what I had in mind. Okay. Oh, here's a new one. What? They serve shrimp cocktail on it. Did you get that one? Page 5? I'm only on page 5. What do you have here? Okay, here we have the airport maintenance. What is this? What else do we have? Do we have any pictures? I'm not going to have any pictures. First of all, I don't want to be in possession of anything which is theoretically that is illegal or deals with kids. I don't want to get near it. Nobody wants. You don't want to see that. Then again, as someone said, AI says that's not me. Call this person. You can't go to trial for somebody showing me a picture or something, unless it's murder or something. But no, bring in the person. Can you identify me? I have the Sixth Amendment right to confront my accuser. I don't want to have a tape. Where's the person? Well, we don't know where she is. Well, then dismiss the case. Where is this case? You have been led to believe that there was going to be this big cabal, and then all these people, these rich people, were going to be let out in a perp walk in the back of a van or some paddy wagon, and that's what you were led to believe. You were told this, and you wanted this. I want those records, and I'm telling you, I've told you from the beginning, what do you want from these records? These records mean nothing. What do they mean? They don't mean anything. They don't tell you what you want to know, what you think you want to know. The question is, what people should be talking about, who do you work for? If he's working for Israel, let's assume, or France, you don't think that's interesting? Why do we have a foreign spook, an intel op in our country, and we're not sure? Shouldn't you ask those people, excuse me, do you think the FBI picked up all this information and said, oh no, we've got it. Here's a thumbnail. Here's a thumb drive. Here's a hard drive. Here we go. We're going to do it. Do you think that, let's say, other intel operatives didn't go in and say, we took all this stuff. We've got whatever we need? Any idea? Anybody asking about that? No. Excuse me. A question. Thank you. Who else has access to this? What? What other country? What other intel agencies? What other bureaus? What are you talking about? You act like there was this place called Epstein Island. Epstein, the Lolita Express. And all this stuff was there. And all the stuff was seized. And it somehow is in New York or in some vault or whatever. That's what you thought. This stuff was copied. Where is this? What? And by the way, you're not going to see anything like this ever again. Honeypots, extortion, nah. That's number one. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said who's involved in this. Because here's the best part. Do you think that maybe Ehud Barak says, I got the good stuff. I don't know about you. We had it the day after it was done. We had it the day when there was an operation, let's say in 2000 or whatever the year was. Let's say this 2004, April the 5th. Whenever there was an operation, whenever Epstein got somebody, do you think they left it in the wall in some console, some little hard drive that's beeping, a little blue light or something? Do you think they took it away right away? Or it was automatically in some cloud or whatever it was. Do you think it's just there? Hey, look at this, reel to reel. Here's an 8-track. Wow. I mean, you can read the inventory, all the items seized. Do you think it's there? They did what? The search warrant when? One search warrant after how many years? Are you kidding me? Where do you think? I mean, I don't want to ruin your night, but what did you think you were going to find from this? Nothing. That's not the issue. The issue is who whacked him? Who? Who were the people? Who was the guy? Now today, let me show you this one guy. Let me see if I can show you one picture from today. And I had it early. And, oh God. Let me get it for you. This is the fellow that I want. Okay, this is the guy. And I mentioned this, and I've been saying this again forever, and nobody has thought it was a good idea to bring it up or to mention it. But let me see where it is. Let me see here. Let me get a good picture. Just a second. I'm sorry, I should have had this, but I didn't think I'd have to bring this up again, but I will. Here we go. Let me see. Where is he? All right. Well, here's the guy. Let me just show you this one. This is a fellow who is, let me see. This is a fellow who was Mr. Epstein's cellmate. Did you see this one? Did you ever hear? Let me tell you about it. And his name, where is he? Here he is. His, just a second. No, that's not it. Just a minute. Talk amongst yourselves. You're going to love this one. I'm sure you've seen it. I hope I'm not insulting you by showing you this. But where is it here? Come on. God doggone it. Hang on a minute. I'm going to do it again. Hang on. Is this it? No. I'm going to do it again. I'm sorry. Forgive me, my friends. Just wait. You're going to love this. You're going to say, I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I had no... Oh, I see why it wasn't a picture. Okay. Sorry. I should have been in charge of all the files. You would have loved this one. Let me see. How about this one? There we go. How about this picture? Okay. Let me see. Again, I'm so sorry for this, but you're going to like this. Just a minute. And, oh, for the love of God. Okay, we're going to get to this in a moment. This is, I'm sorry. This is so, that's not it. Hang on a minute. Let me try this. Oh, hang on a minute. Pardon me. Have you noticed all these paywalls lately? This is the worst thing ever. Let me try this. Just talk amongst yourself. Just introduce yourself. Have some crumb cake. Talk. Oh, for the love of God. Come on. Wait a minute. That's not it. All right, just a minute. I'll wait. I'll get to it in a moment. I know I will. Just a minute. Sorry. His name, it's the roommate. Freedom says, by the way, Freedom says the liberals have not yet realized this is child's play that Trump has done to them so far as punishment. He isn't even caught prime yet. I don't even know. The liberals have not even realized this is child's play that Trump has done to them so far as punishment. Letter R, he hasn't even caught prime yet. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means, but I appreciate it. Here's what's going to happen tomorrow. Nothing. I think, what is it, 8 o'clock tomorrow? Pamela Bondi said, I'm going to have, again, Cash. Cash, you better bring this at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Cash doesn't have anything. Intel agency had him whacked. Now, how do you know that? Now, DIY, let me just say something. How do you know anything? Why is it an Intel agency? How do you know these things? When you say these things, is it because that's kind of like fun, maybe to say? Is this kind of, because I remember there was this guy I knew years ago who he used to swear to me that he was in the NSA. He used to say this. I said, you were in the NSA? Oh, I was in that. I said, when were you in the NSA? Well, I was in the NSA. And, I know all about this because I'm in the NSA. I said, I don't think you were in the NSA. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. And those are wet works. And he knew all the lingo. And he loved pretending he was somehow in the whatever. And so my question is, how do you know what you know? Now, this is a matter of tautology, not tautology, ontogeny. It's also the epistemology of something. How do you know? How do you know what you know? How is it? How do you know when you say something, when you say to yourself, when you say, it was Intel that did it, how do you know that? A lot of people will say, well, I don't really know that. It's just sort of, you know, I kind of think it is, but I don't know. But how do you know this? I don't know. I can promise you this much, and I'm still going to get this picture. I promise you this. It was not self-harm. It was homicide. Do you hear what I'm saying? It was homicide. As the great Mr. Michael Baden would say, it's homicide. It is not what you think. Our good friend, Lying Dog-Faced Pony Soldier, says, why don't they raid the Southern District Office, arrest and depose FBI agents and managers, then open congressional hearings to obtain further arrests, trials, and convictions? Okay, let's do that. Let's raid this. Let's raid the Southern District. All right? And I say, all right, but who's going to raid the Southern District? Who? Who? Anybody? Who's going to raid the Southern District? Well, the FBI? The FBI going to do it? Maybe the White Hats from within the White Hat? And what are you going to do? We're going to go in there. All right, everybody against the wall. Show me your stuff. Where's that Epstein stuff? Where's that? Where are all those files? Where are all those menus and all that stuff that came about? Where are those flight logs? We got the flight logs. Okay. Where is it? And what's interesting is that he's been in office for maybe about a year? Maybe a year. A month, roughly. And already he has everybody basically not liking each other and doing all this stuff and not trusting each other. And do you understand how scary this is? Do you understand how this? So he's going to go in there, think about this, and he's going to basically compromise the position by arresting people. Arresting in the what? No. I don't know why any of this. Why did someone say, I have this on my desk. We're going to have this released tomorrow? I would never say that. Why do that? Remember when Jesse Waters was trying to ask, well, what was it? Well, I'm not going to do it. But I would have said, whenever I have it, whenever I'm ready, I'm going to have an announcement. President Trump, yeah, can I go live at 3? What is it? I've got the Epstein stuff. Really? Yeah, we're going to surprise people. What's even more fascinating? Oh, by the way, folks, don't leave. What is it? Well, what's interesting, what you should know is that I have this information. So why would you announce it? I don't know. Why would you call Probiotic and Drano great people? Here, you go through these files. What are we going to do? We're going to have them go through it? I hope none of it's classified. Did they get a security clearance? I don't know. I wouldn't do that. But here's my thing, which is the most important, which I think nobody wants to talk about. Let's bring Michael Baden in. State your name for the record, sir. Michael Baden, MD. And where are you employed? I was a medical examiner, a forensic pathologist for the New York Medical Examiners for 30, 40. Whose cases have you involved? Oh, my God. Carmine Galante, John Lennon, John Belushi, you name it. I have done everybody. Lying Pony says Justice Department put civil rights watchdogs in police departments suspected of racism. Okay, very good. You're not going to find anything. You can put anybody you want. There's nothing there. Did you hear what I said? The information that you want to see, another country, another intel office, or whoever it was, already seized it after it happened. It wasn't lying around in a search warrant. They didn't have it there. It didn't work like that. But here's the evidence. Tartaglione. I'm trying to get his damn picture up. I don't know why I can't do it. He weighs like 400 pounds. He's all roided out. He looks like it. This guy was, he was a cop upstate New York on death row for whacking 4 people and depositing them on his property. He was Epstein's roommate. They got into a little bit of a tussle. And then later on, lo and behold, Jeffrey is there, and the first thing I would say, Dr. Bott, I'm showing you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 1, whatever it is, for identification. What is that? That is the hyoid bone taken from Jeffrey Epstein. Dr. Bott, where is the hyoid bone? The hyoid bone, if you look underneath, just take your finger, go underneath your jaw to the back, like where your Adam's apple is, but behind that, it's the only bone that is not attached to anything. It's kind of just floating there. And the only time you see it fractured, sometimes in clotheslines, you see people who are like football players or rugby players. It's really violent. It's really, to snap it, it's tough. DIY says, some demons want to be like our creator, not God's. I have no idea what that means. Demons? This isn't about demons. These are just regular people. They whacked them, but thank you. So anyway, Dr. Bott, how do you crack a hyoid bone? By asphyxiation, by strangulation, by manual compression, anterior to dorsal, anterior to posterior. You snap it. Do people have that snapped who suspend themselves and hang? No. What about the thyroid cartilage? What's that? That's like the Adam's apple sort of. What's that? That's fractured too. Is this significant? No. How is that cracked? Violent. And then they show the deep, this piece of like this strangulation. They said it might have been from the CPAP cord. It might have been, but whoever did this, I mean, man, they really did this to either asphyxiate or whatever. But this was a hit. This could never have been the case by just wrapping it and just dangling ever so, they whacked him. It's obvious. That's the issue. Forget the logs. How did you do this in federal custody? And you told me that the 2 guards fell asleep? Come on. He was the happiest guy in the world. All his lawyers were saying he was giving people money for their commissary. He goes, how did we look on the appeal, boys? He was in good mood. He wasn't in any way negative or dejected or any of that stuff. Do you understand what that means? In federal custody. That's the issue. Who did it? That's what I want to go. Now we'll talk to the Southern District of New York. Now we'll talk to the Bureau of Prisons. Now we'll talk. That's what I want to know. I don't care about who was on who sat next to Ethel Kennedy on the way to. Who the hell cares about that? That's not even important. This is the important. How did that happen? They could remember the night he came in. He flew into Teterboro in New York and New Jersey, and they arrested him. They brought him in. All right. Had somebody wanted to say, "Look, it's time for our friend to go bye-bye," they said, "Okay, no problem. Just disappear him in France, no problem." Like it never. He just one day, and then maybe in the New York Post he'll say, "A New York financier and a bon vivant, Jeffrey Epstein, was reported missing." Who? Jeffrey Epstein. Who's Jeffrey Epstein? The guy up there. No, I don't know who he is. Ghislaine Maxwell. Who? Her father. The Mossad and the spook. Robert Maxwell, the drowning. Who? Nobody would care. Nobody would know anything. Well, he knew Prince Andrew. Oh, okay. Nobody knew who he was. That's the way to do it. Just didn't show up. Maybe he fell off I don't know, maybe he fell off his, his island or whatever. I don't know. That's it. But that's not what they did. No. What they did was they wanted you to know that he was off. They wanted you to know exactly what happened. They wanted you to know that we did this in front of everyone. Do you hear that? In front of everyone. And there's nothing you can do. Nothing. We don't care what you think. We don't care what you know. Doesn't matter how obvious we are. That's the story. Big Time says, my question is, what other nations wanted him gone and no information released? USA is only one part of the pie. Do you really think he's got information? Seriously. Let's assume. Let me ask you a question. Let's assume he's got, I don't know, somebody big. Okay? Big. And this guy has done something terrible. Let's say somebody somebody of tender years, as we say. Do you think this is the first time anybody's happened? Do you think that they're going to say, okay, I got him. Yep, I got him. Hello. Yep, I got him. We got Santa Claus. Have some code word. Yep, he's there. Terrific. We'll send somebody over. We got the tape right there. Either in a cloud or whatever the particular technology. We got it. Where was it? In the rumpus room. Got it. That's him. Terrific. You got the information right then. You don't wait years later and then you say, okay, it's about time that we collect all those. All right, fine. So then you're going to do it. You're going to say, hello, Mr. Big. Yes. I want you to know something. Did you happen to go over one night to the Epstein house? Yes. Were you ever on Little Anthony and the Imperial Island or whatever the name of this one? Yes. Were you ever on Lolita Express? Yes. And did you ever involve yourself in flagrante delicto with a minor? Yes. Aha! We have pictures of it. Okay. And you better do something to us. Or what? What would you do? Big Time says, commissioned by another nation, perhaps? Gee, do you think? I've only been talking about that forever. I told you. Yes. Who did he work for? Yes. He didn't work for you, American Intel. No. So what are you supposed to do? Let's assume it's like a Bill Gates. Again, I'm just picking a name out. I have no reason to believe it. And Bill Gates says, So you have, you did this, huh? Yeah. Well, you better do what? Give us the money or come up with that computer deal or whatever it is whatever leverage. You think that's going to do it? Do you think this is the only thing out there? I mean, do you think that's the way it works at that level? Maybe it does. I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows? I suspect it's for little people, not big people, little people. What do you want to do? Let's say, would you rather get, for example, Bill Gates, or would you want to get a George Stephanopoulos? As an example, I'll go with somebody who's in media, who's not that important, but somebody that I can compromise to change the course of stories. My Rhinoceros says, trying not to be pessimistic, Al, but tomorrow will be the litmus test if we know the fix is in or not, period. Love you, Lionel and Mrs. Al. Thank you so much. No, tomorrow's not going to be whether the fix is in. Tomorrow is going to be, I think, a lot of people, Vanessa says, maybe think like a prosecutor. Yeah, okay, I am. What I'm trying to say is, this thing was just, this was nothing. I've been telling you this, the records, you're not going to see any pictures, even the information. What are you going to do with it? How do you blackmail big people at that level? How could you blackmail, for example, Elon Musk? How? What are you going to do? Good luck. Plus, it's kind of tawdry, and you're going to bring in these women are going to test, because if you want to go to court, because if you're really smart, I would tell anybody, tell them to go to court. Let's go. You want to testify? I mean, it's ridiculous. The question is simply this: who did it? That's the issue. Why is everybody? Let me try this. Maybe it's me. Why doesn't anybody understand that's the issue? Why? We did this to somebody in federal custody. What do you think the deal was made with Ghislaine Maxwell? What about her? She's not even mentioned in this thing. Why isn't she mentioned? Do you think somebody, if anybody went to her one time and said, by the way, you probably didn't know this. Oh, Big Time, by the way, says, it's the one we heard about. Makes me wonder how many more are out there we don't know about and how deep the swamp is. Oh my God, the swamp is so deep. It's not even... Listen, before we get off of this, the important thing is who whacked them. That's it. Not this other stuff. Not this other stuff. You know what else is going to be big? Bigger than anything you can imagine? I'm going to tell you. Out of nowhere came this guy named Elon Musk. At least that's the story. So Elon Musk comes along and Elon Musk says this interesting stuff. He says, which is very interesting, Elon Musk says, I'm going to get to the bottom and we're going to look into these various organizations and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. And we're going to see if there's any government waste. Okay, good. And that's wonderful. Yeah, it's great. Great. Now, here's the other thing which is interesting. He goes ahead and he finds this stuff out. And then we find out that there's this thing called USAID. And USAID is this feeder system, this I don't even know what the word is, this means of, I don't know what you want to call it, paying everybody. Lying says, was Starmer negotiating Epstein cover-up today? No, maybe, not really. I'm going to try this again one more time. You know who Epstein matters to? To you. You've been told it's everything. You've been told to wait and dream and hope that somehow when they get to the bottom and these files, whatever they are turned over, that you will once and for all, it'll be an end, that people will be let out in handcuffs, that the swamp will be drained, and that, no, I've been telling you, no. What is it? It's interesting. Doesn't really matter. Thank you, love, Vanessa. Thank you for that. No, that's not it. That's not it. What's interesting is the fact of who he worked for. Think about that. What would that do? What if somebody told you? What if you found out that he was a French intelligence agent? And when he was talking to Macron the other day, let's assume somebody says, hey, we know who Epstein was. He was one of you. You did this. You came to our country. You lived here, and you basically set all this stuff up, and it was you, and you're in jail. They would have been all over that. They would have been all over it. Maybe they have. But this one, and I don't know what kind of leverage that is. You think the average American knows? No. They have this idea that somehow Epstein was, two stories. Fascinating. Number one was Dan Bongino. Notice how Dan Bongino's nowhere to be found. Cash Patel's like, I don't know about this. Dan Bongino was on Tim Pool. I think it was Tim Pool. And Dan Bongino said, I was in this show the other day, or I was in a green room or something. It was a damnedest thing. Somebody came to me and said, that Epstein didn't do this for himself, that he worked for a, quote, a Middle Eastern country. He said this. And I said, Dan, because that's his name. Dan, come on. A Middle Eastern country? Jordan? No. Egypt? Oh. Lebanon? No. Let me see. Saudi Arabia. No. This is the number 2 guy who actually goes on and he's like dancing around them. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'll play your game. Then the other one, another good one was Tucker Carlson was talking about about Barry Weiss. And he said, Barry Weiss apparently has me pegged as being something because apparently in order to win her good graces, I have to be for bombing Iran. What? Yes. Barry Weiss is for bombing Iran. And those of us who don't want to bomb Iran, I said, wait. Of course, I said, that's what you think she's about, is bombing Iran? And who wants her to bomb Iran? Nobody will say Israel. They just never say it. They can't say it. It's the weirdest thing. It's not even important. You think Israel would say, tell them. We want to be powerful, wouldn't you? Tell them we did this. Yeah, he was one of ours. Yeah. We're the freaking Mossad. We're the biggest, baddest. Of course. Tell them like you didn't know. They won't say, oh, no. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2 is they whacked them. But here's the best one. Are you ready for this? So tomorrow, whatever Pam Bondi, and by the way, I love her. I've known her for years. You do whatever you want. You go get this. Don't even worry about this. They'll get to the bottom of whatever it is. Epstein doesn't matter. Here's what matters. Either somebody tipped Elon off, if there is, I'm making it like somebody said, guess what? We found out where all of you people were making your money from. Hey, Samantha Power. USAID. You came in with what? Now you're worth about what? 30, 40, 50 mil? We don't even know the money on the Cayman Islands. We have no idea. You and others. I mean, you and Cass Sunstein, this guy, I don't think anybody's ever heard of him. He came up with cognitive infiltration. That's the one I'll never forget. So the gig's up. We know all about this. Money's gone dry. It's done. And not only is it done, we're going to claw it back. Stacey Abrams, come here. Stacey, come here. Have a seat. Stacey Abrams has some nonprofit, has like $100 in the bank account. Next day has $2 billion. I swear to God, you can't write this. We want the back, clawback. This is what they did during the Bernie Madoff thing. Take it back, clawback. Remember that? People say, wait a minute, what are you taking this money for? I'm a pension. I'm a teacher's. We're a North Carolina teacher's pension. I want it back. No, excuse me. We had nothing to do with, we didn't know about fraud. I want it back. That's clawback. Fraudulent transfer. Everybody lost everything. They didn't say, okay, look, okay, it's a nice lady. No. Everything that went to you comes back. You took it under false pretenses. They stole this. Let me go a step further to make it even easier. In the year 2016, 2017, something like that, there's a guy named Moby. Do you ever read about Moby? You can read it. It's online. He said the CIA came to him and said, we like your social media. This is before, or when they realized how important it was, because Intel always appreciates music and entertainment. We want your social media. We want it with our stuff. How do you like that? Yeah, we want it. And well, I guess, I don't know if they paid him or whatever, but we want this. Hey, Rob Reiner, come here. Remember Rob Reiner? Why do you think Rob Reiner was going so crazy? Why he hated Trump so much? Lying says, blowing open the Epstein stronghold would lead to the fall of 25 important castles in the Trump versus deep state war game program. I hate to break it to you, but what I'm telling you is that you're missing it. You put all your money, all your eggs in. You think Epstein doesn't. Epstein's nothing. Listen to what I'm telling you. People wonder why why was Rob Reiner going so crazy? Just as an example. Well, Rob Reiner was going crazy. He hated Trump. Why? It was almost like he was paid to do it. How was Rob Reiner doing in terms of money? Well, not great. Was he a big producer? Well, he had some good movies, but he's whatever. How about Robert De Niro? DIY says, what are your thoughts on Fort Knox? We'll get to that in a moment. Most of it's hypothecated, if anything else. But anyway, so then there were people like Robert De Niro. And then there were people like Politico. And then there was MSDNC. And then all these people. And we're going to find out that everything, I mean everything, was prompted, promoted, buoyed up, held up by virtue of this thing that we call USAID. Everything. I mean everything. That crazy preacher and the one who screamed about the trans, BLM, Antifa, musical groups, Barbara Streisand, Robert Downey Jr., George Clooney, Biden, the Biden family, Burisma, everything came from there. Everything. And when you it's like, remember the old days when you had those lights? You ever do that for the Christmas tree and you take them out, you plug them in and go, oh, shit. You know, like some of them were burned out and some were, are they in parallel or series or whatever it's called? I don't know. You realize, I never realized, there's one bad bulb and it's all out. That's what this is. Elon Musk says, I'm not even done yet. USAID, you're going to see the end of everything. George Soros. What if George Soros doesn't have this? What if the reason why he's a billionaire is because of that? The people who created things like Silicon Valley, In-Q-Tel. Remember that In-Q-Tel was the investment arm of this? The whole Zuckerberg story. The whole Bill Gates story. Everything. The shadow government, not the deep state, but the shadow government, whoever, funded everything. And they want you going crazy with Epstein. I couldn't care. Epstein is over with. It doesn't matter. The interesting story is how he was whacked in federal custody. Trust me when I say that. Heads will roll. When you have Bill Barr, the AG at the time, who said, yeah, I think it was, no. Stop it. Stop it. So anyway, what I'm telling you right now is do not think that, oh, whatever. I don't care. You're going to forget Epstein so bad. This was poorly handled. It seems like they didn't know what they were doing. I'm going to send a letter. Hey, Cash, I told you to do this. You didn't do this. If I didn't, the letter even look, didn't the letter seem kind of funny? Is this like his name? There's no address. Hey, Cash, I told you to have this. Now, God damn it, we're going to do tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. It seemed like it was like, Keystone Cop stuff. And then you bring out these, you're going to give it to DC Drain? I mean, well, whoever is like, well, bless his heart. But what are they going to do? Sift through this? What are they going to do with this? There's nothing in there. Ethel Kennedy, she had prime rib 3 times in a row. What does this mean? That's a part of it. Please be patient. Please be patient. Wait until you see how the plug's been pulled on the shadow government. That's it. You're not going to get anybody taken to prison because there's a picture, there's a tape of them or a thumb drive or some video. It's not going to happen. It's too old. All the good stuff has already been seized by the country or the people or the intel agency that owns and ran him. Why hasn't Les Wexner answered any questions? This is the guy who gave him all his money. I've known people in New York City. We have more billionaires here than you can imagine. This is true. And one of them said something which is very interesting. He said, I know everybody on the street. You know what I mean? Everybody. If you're a billionaire, you're a hedge fund guy, I know of you or I know who you are. Nobody heard of Epstein? Nobody. He just came out of nowhere. He was a Potemkin village. That's the issue. Not this other stuff. Not the, that's tawdry in a section. It's wrong. But you're going to find a lot of you're going to find, let's say if you have 200 people, a lot of these people are going to say, hey, I settled. That's in the past. I ain't coming out of this thing. No way. Not interested. So were you a victim? Did you receive any money? Whether I did or I didn't, it's none of your business. I'm done with that. Well, I want you to come out and help us so we can rehash this case against it. No. I'm done. A lot of these people are married. The kids. I'm not going to bring this up again. How are you going to prove a case without these people? What are you going to do? Show it. You're not going to show people videos of anything because that's against the law. What are you going to do? So just don't worry about it. That's not the issue. Big Time says, fake alien invasion coming. Listen, you know what really upset me the other day? Now remember, I love President Trump, but he's got to get tighten up a little bit. Remember when Caroline Leavitt, who's fantastic, remember when they said, we're going to get to the bottom of the drones in Vegas, in Jersey. I would say to him, Mr. President, do me a favor. 2 times you said, number 1, you said you were going to answer the drones, and you didn't. Number 2, you said, we're going to have on my desk is the file. Don't say that. Don't say that. Why did you say that? Even Jesse Waters, who is, I think, as dumb as rocks, even he was saying, well, what is it? Well, I can't tell you, Jesse, but let me just tell you right now that got some pretty serious stuff here, and it's pretty bad. What is it? Jeffrey, I can't tell you, Jesse. I told you. Well, I don't know. What is it? It's about Epstein. Is it bad? Yes, Jesse, it's bad. And tomorrow can you tell me what it is? No, Jesse. No, we can't tell you what it is. Okay. This is the Brain Trust who replaced Tucker. This guy. Okay, fine. So that's over with. We're going to put this together. Tomorrow's Friday. You know what that means? Next day, Saturday. By Monday, we're going to forget something. And then here comes Elon. Elon said, hey, guess what? I just found that Fauci. Now, who do you want to have? Did you see Joy Behar, who is, she apologized. She said something about apartheid or I don't know what it was. Here's the good news. Number 1, prediction. Ready? Joe and Meager, gone. Morning Joe, bye. Next, The View, bye. Not worth it. ABC says, screw this. This ain't worth it. This is a pittance. We've got sports and this and movies and the Academy Awards, whatever it is. And I got this dumb broad in the morning no. So Morning Joe, you're going to say goodbye to. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do it. Oh, look at that. There's a thing. Number 2, you're going to see, what's her name? Then you're going to see something really good. Here's what, don't be surprised. What if I told you that if the person who should be really scared, as we say in the kitchen here, is Fauci? What if I told you Fauci? Who would you rather let? What would you rather do? Who would you like to see? I would love to see Fauci. What if I were to tell you that the pardon that was provided by Biden was up until January the 20th, but that there were other conspiracies going on and through acts of novation and renewal and a variety of other things. Later on, that was a new crime. And the prior pardon doesn't apply to this. What if I showed you? What if I showed you that the people who were getting paid, let's assume, I'm just saying, what if I said that Stephen King, who were some of your favorites? Barbara Streisand, George Clooney, The View. What if The View, ABC, huge swaths were paid through USAID group, a grant to this, a grant to that, a DEI this and the ESG. And what if all of a sudden there's this collapse? They're going to get Rachel Maddow next. They are so pissed at her because she went on TV and she basically says, oh, this is terrible. And what they're doing is they basically got rid of people of color. It's like, you're going to hang us out to dry? Good. The next one we're going to come out is we're going to fire your people. Now, interesting to note, MSDNC actually was upset with the president in firing people. This is interesting, who were worthless and didn't do anything. But when it came to firing their own people, they had no problem whatsoever. So that's, Big Time says, was under the impression pardon was a blank slate. Nope. Up to January, sorry, not like whatever you do for the rest of your life. Nope. And it's only federal. So, my friends, let me just tell you something. You have been so terrific tonight. Big Time, you were a DIY, lying dog face pony soldier. Never found out exactly what that means. Love Vanessa, thank you. Let me see. Myanosaurus, Big Time, we thank. I said that. Let me see. Who did I miss? Freedom, thank you, Freedom. Fishman, thank you. Honest AF, I don't know what that is. Jay Eiler. Jeff Pearson, JTE, thank you. Tom Collins, ladies and gentlemen. Ricardo, Warren Ocasio, The Media Man, Gene Crane. What a night. What a night. Let me remind you to please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. It's the best channel, the most comprehensive in terms of protecting children from predation. Digital safety is where everybody should go. Lynn's Warriors. We also have a second channel here called Lionel Legal for those laser subjects. And this, of course, is Lionel Nation, which you must make sure you are subscribed to because sometimes people find themselves unsubscribed. And make sure you also subscribe to the newsletter, which is also a good one. All right, my friends, an hour and 37 minutes. What a night it was. So rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Thank you. Gene Hackman's movie, Scarecrow, I think I told you this morning, was where I got the name Lionel from. This is from Al Pacino's character, who played Francis Lionel Del Bucci. 1973 movie, Scarecrow. Right after The Godfather. It was fantastic. And Epstein, remember, who'd he work for, how they whack him, and why the federal government is not responsible for doing it themselves. That's the story. You're not going to find anything, any story about logs or it's just not going to happen. It's not there. Take care, bro. Thank you, DIY. Don't worry about that. But the good news, wait till we see where all this USAID stuff is going to. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious night. It was such an honor being with you. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until we meet again tomorrow, 7 a.m. right here. Remember, the monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue you. Da-da.